The Australian story, no matter the chapter, is an adventure story. Ancient, action-packed, precious and proud. This week, David and I will explore the wild beauty of northeastern Victoria's alpine country. From its soaring heights to its deepest tracks. Ours is a country of open roads and experiences wild and new. An adventure story that's yours for the making.
The good state of Victoria still wears her unspoiled corners with pride. And nowhere is she wilder at heart than her alpine northeast.
This is a vast land of the tamed and the untamed. It's a wilderness of impenetrable bush, rugged terrain, plunging valleys, mountain peaks and big sky. Historically, it was a land of heartache, hard labour and hard-won respect. This is a landscape that drives even the toughest to rhyme and to risk.
Adventure. This is what I live for. And I think as Aussies, we all do, because it's not about seeing a place as much as it is about experiencing a place. And as a paraglider, I've done a lot of coastal flying, but I've never done any inland flying. So I've come to the Victorian high country in the northeast to get up into the skies.
Bright, in northeastern Victoria's alpine area, is about a 4-hour drive from downtown Melbourne. And on a glorious day like today, this country is possibly best observed in lycra and nylon, with an enticing release of hot air, a steely nerve and a neon-coloured wing. And today, the Australian Paragliding Championship is being battled out in the skies over Mount Elliot. The country's top paragliders have come from all points on the compass to revel in their soaring passion for this emerging sport.
It's kind of epic. The best time is when you're flying into a thermal and you're like, I'm going to take this all the way to the top.
I started to really enjoy it, and going for a fly was an addiction, and it'd keep me happy doing that.
These alpine conditions make for some of the best flying in the country. As the earth warms, the regions surrounding valleys and peaks cook up strong columns of thermal air that these paragliders use to lift their high-tech wings more than a kilometre into the sky. Gareth Carter is the reigning Australian champion, and according to him, this sport is as tactical as it is physical.
It's not just about who can go fastest, it's about who can go fastest around the course. That involves tactical choices about where to fly and when to stop going fast and actually make sure you're very high. It's like bouncing on a pin.
This is round 2 of the Australian Championships. These guys will be battling it out for the next 3 days, with the fastest paragliders qualifying to represent Australia at the World Titles.
Now, while the pros are battling it out for points over at Mount Elliot, about 30 kilometres west as the glider flies, the Mystic Hill launch pad, high above the town of Bright, is the place to come if you're looking to learn to fly.
Hey, how are you? Good.
And with my flight instructor David Wainwright in town for the comp, I may need a little tandem flight to get used to the local conditions if I'm going to attempt an inland solo here.
How easy is it to actually get to a point where you can do a solo paraglide?
It's pretty easy. We start you off Nice, small, gentle slope. We get you used to the controls of the glider, what everything is. Generally the first day we'll have you solo in that sort of scenario. Within a week you'll be licensed, hopefully, if the weather's good like it is now.
The Mystic Hill launch pad is something of a sacred site to paragliders, thanks mainly to the ease and proximity of Bright's quality landing sites. And make no mistake, with your instructor looking after all the technical details, tandem flights are pure pleasure.
I never actually get over the fear of it. Sometimes I look down like now and I think, oh my gosh. And we're quite safe, even though it really often doesn't feel like it. Just check out the... Oh!
And so, with this tandem flight feeling really good, it's time to go solo.
Caroline, this is David.
Roger you. It's hectic up here.
In summer, when the alpine terrains really heat up, there's so much hot air rising to the sky that you can easily end up 100 kilometres off course.
I don't know about this inland stuff. It's bumpy. You know what? It's so beautiful up here. It is stunning.
Very nice. What a beautiful landing.
Bit fast and hot. Oh.
Next, David's expedition deep into Alpine Victoria's gold mining past.
There is a timeless irony to the Victorian alpine country that envelops you from the moment the new day dawns. Because here in the Dart River Valley along the Gibbo Range Road, about 3 hours drive from the nearest town of Omeo, you can't help but wonder how a place that has witnessed so much of the state's wildest gold rush history can wake up feeling so unspoilt.
Thankfully, a very comfortable night's sleep. That's the thing about camping, isn't it? You're only ever going to be as comfortable as you're prepared to be. You might just need a bedroll and a sleeping bag, but why stop there? Why not go for the whole kitchen with fridge? Orange juice, Andrew?
When it comes to exploring northeastern Victoria's backcountry, the quality of the area's campsites are a massive part of the experience. Sites like Zulu Creek here require no permits, and best of all, there are no fees. So a solid four-wheel drive camper is vital if you are to get the most out of the adventure. I've got a couple of days set aside to explore the Dart River region. And with local historian Andrew Swift as my guide, two things are guaranteed. The tracks we'll drive are deserted, and we are never far from the big picture.
Gee,
Look at that, David.
never short of the big vista around here. So where are we here?
We're up on the high plains. We've got the Upper Dargo Valley here, Mount Hotham over there, Dinner Plain up in the hills behind us, and we've just got this magnificent rolling hill of the Victorian Eastern Ranges.
So this is as high as you get in Victoria, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah, you don't get much higher than this, not at least with vehicles anyway.
Victoria's high country was virtually unexplored before the discovery of gold in 1850. But the economic and cultural forces unleashed in that rush to riches laid down the foundations of present-day Victoria. The Victorian Alpine Country is one of the most spectacular and accessible 4x4 destinations in Australia, which makes the driving along tracks like the Gibbo Range Road a rewarding mix of the chilled and the challenging.
Now we've got a bit of a rough old steep descent here, Dave, so what we might do is I'll just head off slowly and first in low, and I'll just be tickling my brakes, and you just give us a little bit of space behind me and then we'll follow through. Alright Dave, here we go.
Holy smoke. He has just disappeared on a 90-degree angle.
This is an old mining track that heads down into a mining area called the Glen Dart. So if we'd been travelling along here, say 120 years ago, we'd be passing miners and maybe the odd bullock team bringing in mining machinery.
This terrain is challenging enough on a dry, warm summer's day with a modern four-wheel drive to do the hard yards, but cast your mind back to the 1850s and the prospect of hauling tons of mining equipment through the rain and snow, and you get an idea of just how tough the living was out here.
How old is this? When would they have brought this in?
This was brought in 1884.
Down here in this forgotten little gully, alone with its ghosts, is the Glen Dart Gold Battery. This boiler and engine are remnants of the kind of mine workings found right throughout the Victorian High Country, rusted echoes of the great gold adventure that once took place here.
See, something like this would weigh upwards of 5 tonne, and you can see it's cast in 2 sections here. So that it's split down the middle so that they can fit it onto your standard bullock wagon. And then there would have been teams of bullocks, upwards of dozens and dozens of bullocks, hauling this up the range, and then carefully they counted and lowered it down, you know, by a system of pulleys and so on. Madness.
So what would have been going on here? How many people would have been living down here?
Well, in this tight stretch of the valley, which is no more than a couple of k's long, there would have been probably a couple of hundred blokes here at the peak time. And there was a hotel, a school, a general store.
And when was it all over here?
All over, probably by the 1890s.
It's easy to discount the Australian bush as just another cliche until you get out in it like this. And these are the very ranges. This is the bush that was home to the hard men and women that so inspired the likes of Banjo Patterson. And he wrote about it in the Bulletin in 1890. Talking about these ranges, he was saying they're torn and rugged battlements on high, where the air is clear as crystal and the white stars fairly blaze at midnight in the cold and frosty sky. We don't seem to have a Patterson these days, do we? They are really indicative, aren't they, of the bush, you know? They're the words that really sum it up, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a way of life that's now gone, Dave.
Yeah.
Coming up next, a wild alpine ride on 2 wheels.
Yeah. With such an expansive alpine area, 4-wheel driving is a pretty cool way to explore, but for me, I prefer 2 wheels because I feel like I need to earn my turns. I just hope I kind of haven't made a mistake. It looks pretty steep around here.
Victoria's Falls Creek region, about 4 hours' drive from the heart of Melbourne, is now a year-round promised land of gravity sport action. And when it comes to maximising your downhills, the boys from Blue Dirt will have you sorted with their non-stop shuttle bus service from the Gully car park to the summit.
Well, that was an easy uphill.
In the next 2 years, Falls Creek will become Australia's next big mountain biking playground. With up to 60 kilometres of single track being built, including cross-country and multiple downhill options. My trail buddy today is Aaron Kopanica, and after years of riding the Falls Creek backcountry, his favourite way to start a day's shredding is to tackle the region's highest peak. First up and head on.
We're doing a pretty hard climb. What road are we on?
We're on the road that's heading up to the top of Mount McKay.
My thighs are thanking you. Whew. Tell you what, summer in this beautiful alpine area just gives you the most spectacular mountain biking. Good tip, rather than come on the weekend when everyone sort of comes down here, come on a weekday, you'll get the whole place to yourself. You may have to put some sweat in though on some of these hills. And I've got a tip from Aaron. Keep your wrists low, your elbows low, come forward on your seat a little bit, and apparently it makes the hills easier. I'm still in granny gear though. Hey mate, wait up! Whew, nearly there.
The track to the top of Mount McKay is breathtaking in every way possible. But at 1,842 metres above sea level, once you and your thighs have cycled all the way to the summit, Aaron loves to point out why this mountain is unlike any other in Australia.
Good climb.
Yeah, we're on the highest drivable road in Victoria. It's great for me, from my perspective, to take people that aren't familiar with it into this kind of area and show them a piece of the country that they haven't seen or experienced before, and hopefully they catch the bug and go home and buy a bike.
And so, having well and truly earned my turn, it's finally time to crank up the speed and test some nerves against track number DH1. DH stands for downhill. This is what's known as the downhill flow trail. So whether you're jumping or taking on rock features or powering through sharp berms, DH1 has got you covered.
There you are.
Good luck.
That was such a great day, just an awesome adventure, something I think everyone could enjoy, no matter what age or experience level you're at. And really, it's inspired me to get my bike out. Cracker.
Hi, I'm Justin Walker from Australian Geographic Outdoor Magazine. Been testing this Garmin Edge 1000 for the last few weeks. It's been a brilliant piece of kit for exploring the backcountry and really getting out there and finding your way back as well. The standout with this Garmin Edge 1000 is undoubtedly the technology that Garmin has invested in the unit. It just gives you the freedom to explore. You can put your start point in your mapping software, concentrate on riding your bike, looking around, exploring the countryside, mark a few points of interest if you want, but you always know that it's going to get you back home when you're really need to get back home. Us mountain bikers can be often accused of being too obsessed with gear. It's an easy point to make, but it depends on the gear whether it enhances your experience or not, whereas this thing definitely does. The Garmin Edge 1000 is brilliant.
Coming up, how you can win our ultimate $100,000 adventure pack.
To kick off Australian Geographic Adventures premiere series, we are going to be giving away the ultimate adventure kit that we hope will inspire you to get out and explore this amazing country of ours. To win this majestic 2015 Sierra Off-Road Extreme, complete with rugged 15-inch wheels, Simplicity suspension, air conditioning, gas-heated hot water system, rear ensuite, and a K-Mech top load washer, and this Stabycraft 1650 Fisher with Mercury outboard, Lowrance electronics and Trans-style trailer, just text your full name and details to 1995 2010 to be in the running. The comp closes on September the 30th, 2015. If you have any questions, all terms and conditions can be found on this website. So, get busy. This whispering little course of alpine meltwater is the Ovens River, just outside Harrietville, about 4 hours' drive from the noise and rancour of central Melbourne. And after a week spent in pursuit of high country action, this makes for a very chillaxed punctuation.
We're looking predominantly for what we call feed lanes, and that's where the food is going to be predominantly positioned through the river currents. And then the fish will sit off those. If you're looking carefully, you might see a fish actually come out of the water completely.
And what kind of fish would we be likely to get if we snared one?
You would be targeting the rainbow trout. They're the dominant species in this valley.
What's been your favourite part of the trip, David?
Well, I was quite surprised by the four-wheel driving. It's so kind of exciting in a strange sort of way to be able to get across that terrain in comfort to get to those special parts of the bush.
Because I've only ever been down here for the winter, and you know, it's spectacular in the winter, but I'd almost argue that it's prettier in the summer. It's pretty amazing just how diverse and beautiful northeast Victoria is. And just to think that this is all in our own backyard. An adventurer's dream.
If any of our adventures have you itching to break free, pick up a Brits camper van and make every weekend a holiday. Our journeys this week uncovered some fantastic accommodation for the team and I. After a big day paragliding, we kicked up our feet at Bright's Pine Valley Tourist Park with campsites from $43 a night and cabins from $105. We spent a cosy night at the Mount Buffalo Caravan Park, which has campsites from $20 a night and cabins starting from $80. And even though we didn't manage to catch any trout for tea, the Pawpunka Holiday Park with campsites from $20 and cabins from $87 made for a great place to finish an afternoon's fly fishing. For this information and more about this week's Australian Geographic adventures, log on to australiangeographic.com.au. Next week, the life and times of the mighty Hawkesbury River from its mountain source.
And this is where the Hawkesbury just comes to life.
To its ocean end.
This is what lies beneath, shipwreck that's just become an oasis.